The remains of Marcedes Myran have been officially identified after being found in late February in the Prairie Green landfill north of Winnipeg. Myran and Morgan Harris, whose remains were identified in early March, can now be properly put to rest by loved ones almost 3 years since they disappeared.
Marcedes Myran and Morgan Harris are coming home. This is what we set out to do. I don't know if many of us knew the odds of success. I certainly was always trying to keep a realistic perspective, but it turns out bringing them home was within our grasp.
Myran, 26, and Harris, 39, were 2 of 4 confirmed victims of a convicted Winnipeg serial killer. Myran and Harris were both members of Long Plain First Nation. Their murders took place between March and May 2022. The remains of another victim, Rebecca Contois, were found in June 2022 in the Brady Road landfill south of Winnipeg. The remains of a 4th, yet-to-be-identified victim, named by the Indigenous community as Marcedes Myran, or Buffalo Woman, have still not been found. It took roughly 2 years for the landfill search to begin after Winnipeg Police Services said they believed Harris and Myran's remains were at the site in December 2022. However, the Winnipeg Police Services refused to enact a search, and the previous provincial government campaigned against the effort, both citing health concerns related to asbestos. Throughout that time, the women's families and their community endlessly advocated for the search.
Until we get her home, we'll be fighting to bring her home. Like I said, even a piece of her would be good. We'll have a piece of her at home at least.
We're not asking, we are telling you that this needs to be done. You will search the landfill, and if you will not, you will hand me the shovel and you will hand me the hazmat suits myself, and our community will go in there and retrieve our woman.
It took about 3 months for the 2 women to be found from the time the physical search began in December 2024. Morgan Harris's daughter Elle says the pain of waiting and advocating was unnecessary for the families. She took to Facebook to share her thoughts on Myran being found. There was absolutely no need for all this trauma that was induced, for all the exhaustion, for all the constant fighting and pleading to bring my mother and Marcedes home. We did not have to endure all this pain if they just listened to us in the first place instead of tearing us down every step and every second of the way. Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew says the search will continue and says remains and other things that are significant are continuing to be found. Kinew hopes the findings bring unity to a province somewhat divided on the search.
And I hope now, regardless of how you felt over the course of this thing, I hope we can all just agree it's good that we're able to provide closure to these families so that they can move forward in a good way. And now the rest of the province, neighbours included, ought to be able to move forward together.
Sav Jones, APTN National News, Winnipeg.